Hello everyone. Today I'll share powerful methods to overcome the feeling that you're too late to start something new. Are you struggling with thoughts like these? You see someone succeeding at something you've always wanted to do, and you think, I should have started years ago. You want to learn a new skill but tell yourself, I'm too old for this now. You have dreams but keep pushing them aside because you feel like you've missed your chance. Maybe you want to start exercising but think, everyone else has been doing this since they were young. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone, and more importantly, these feelings are completely changeable. Let me explain why we feel it's too late to start things. The truth is, this feeling comes from three main psychological traps. First, what researchers call time anxiety. When we worry about being too late, we're actually anxious about whether our lives have meaning. Our brains trick us into thinking age limitations are real barriers when they're mostly mental constructs. A research institution found that people who feel pressed for time are actually experiencing deeper concerns about life purpose, not genuine time constraints. Second, we fall into perfectionist expectations. We believe we need to become experts quickly or match people who started when they were younger. This creates an impossible standard that stops us before we even begin. We compare our potential day 1 to someone else's year 10, which is like comparing a seed to a fully grown tree. The human brain naturally seeks shortcuts to expertise, but learning doesn't work that way. Third, the comparison trap catches us. Social media and success stories make us focus on other people's timelines instead of recognizing that everyone's journey is unique. We see highlight reels and think they represent the complete picture. A media outlet reported that people who limit social media comparison feel significantly more confident about starting new pursuits at any age. What we don't see are the years of practice, the failures, the slow progress that led to those highlights. But here's what science tells us. Neuroplasticity research proves our brains can form new neural connections throughout our entire lives. A university study found that people in their 70s could still develop new neural pathways as effectively as people in their 20s when learning new skills. The too late feeling is a cognitive distortion, not a biological reality. Your brain is designed to learn and adapt no matter your age. Now let me share 6 practical methods that will help you break free from the too late mindset and actually start what you want to do. The first method is the 1% start technique. This is about making the barrier to entry so low that it's almost impossible to say no. Here's exactly what you do. Choose the smallest possible version of what you want to start. If you want to write a book, commit to writing 1 sentence per day. If you want to get fit, do 1 push-up. If you want to learn a language, learn 1 word. Set a timer for exactly 5 minutes and stop when it goes off, even if you want to continue. Do this for 7 consecutive days, focusing only on consistency, not quality or progress. After 7 days, increase by just 1 minute. The key is building trust with yourself that starting doesn't mean overwhelming commitment. A research team found that people who used micro-habits were 3 times more likely to maintain new behaviors after 6 months compared to those who tried to make dramatic changes. This works because your brain interprets small actions as safe, avoiding the resistance that comes with big commitments. Within 1 week, you'll have proof that starting is possible. Within 1 month, you'll have a sustainable habit that naturally grows. The second method is evidence collection. Your brain needs proof that progress is happening, especially when change feels slow. Get a notebook or use your phone to document every single action you take toward your goal, no matter how minor. If you read 1 page, write it down. If you practiced for 2 minutes, record it. If you just thought about your goal and did research, that counts too. Every week, spend 10 minutes reviewing your evidence list and notice the cumulative progress. Take photos, save screenshots, or record voice memos of your learning moments. Share 1 piece of evidence with someone supportive each week. This creates accountability and external validation. Focus on effort and learning rather than results. Count attempts and experiments as victories, not just successes. A research institution discovered that people who tracked small daily actions were significantly more motivated and less likely to quit than those who only measured big milestones. Here's why this works. Your brain has a negativity bias that makes you notice what's not working more than what is working. By deliberately collecting evidence of progress, you're retraining your brain to notice success. Within 1 week, you'll see tangible proof you're making progress. Within 1 month, you'll have an undeniable record that destroys the too late narrative. The third method is beginner identity embrace. This is about changing your relationship with being new at something. When the too late thought appears, say out loud, I'm a beginner, and that's exactly where I should be. This simple phrase interrupts the negative thought pattern and replaces it with acceptance. Actively seek out other beginners in your chosen area and connect with them. Join online communities specifically for adult beginners or people starting later in life. Celebrate beginner wins. The first time you try, your first mistake, your first tiny improvement. Remind yourself that being a beginner at 30, 40, 50, or beyond is actually a privilege, not a disadvantage. You have life experience, patience, and wisdom that younger beginners don't have. You understand the value of persistence and can appreciate progress in ways that young people often can't. A psychological study found that adults who embrace beginner status learn more effectively than those who fight against it. When you accept being a beginner, you remove the pressure to be good immediately, which paradoxically helps you improve faster. Find communities where being an adult beginner is normalized and even celebrated. Within 1 week, the shame around starting late will decrease significantly. Within 1 month, you'll feel proud to be a beginner and excited about learning. The fourth method is the timeline reset technique. This involves completely reframing how you think about time and progress. Instead of thinking, I should have started 10 years ago, practice thinking, I'm starting at exactly the right time for me. Write down 3 advantages you have now that you wouldn't have had if you'd started earlier. Maybe you have more patience, better resources, clearer goals, or more life experience to draw from. Create a personal timeline that focuses on your future rather than your past. If you're 40 and want to learn guitar, instead of thinking, I'm 40 years behind, think, I have potentially 30 to 40 years to enjoy playing guitar. That's longer than many professional musicians have been playing. A research team found that people who focused on future timeline rather than past regrets were significantly more motivated to start new pursuits. Practice the minimum viable timeline exercise. Ask yourself, what's the minimum amount of time I need to get some satisfaction from this? Maybe it's 6 months to play your first song, or 1 year to have basic conversations in a new language. This makes the goal feel achievable rather than overwhelming. Within 1 week, you'll feel more optimistic about your timeline. Within 1 month, you'll have a clear, personal roadmap that excites rather than intimidates you. The fifth method is social environment design. The people around you have enormous influence on whether you feel it's too late, or just right, to start something new. Audit your social environment. Who are the people who make you feel like it's too late? Who are the people who encourage you to try new things? Intentionally spend more time with people who have a growth mindset and who celebrate trying new things at any age. Find role models who started later in life. Research people who began their most famous work after the age you are now. A famous author didn't publish her first novel until she was 52. A renowned artist didn't start painting until his 70s. A successful entrepreneur launched her biggest company at 60. These examples aren't exceptions, they're more common than you think. Join communities, online or offline, where starting new things as an adult is normal. This might be adult education classes, hobby groups, or online forums. When you surround yourself with people who are also beginning new journeys, the too late feeling dissolves because you see it's actually quite normal. A university study found that social environment was the strongest predictor of whether people successfully started new pursuits later in life. The sixth method is called present moment activation. This technique helps you take action right now instead of getting stuck in timeline anxiety. When you feel the too late thoughts coming up, immediately do something related to your goal, no matter how small. If you want to start writing, open a document and write 1 word. If you want to get fit, do 10 jumping jacks. If you want to learn cooking, go smell the spices in your kitchen. This physical action interrupts the mental loop of too late thinking and proves to your brain that starting is possible right now. Set random alarms throughout your day that remind you to take one tiny action toward your goal. This could be researching for 2 minutes, practicing for 30 seconds, or even just visualizing yourself doing the activity. The magic happens when you realize that the present moment is the only time that actually exists. You can't start in the past because it's gone, and you can't start in the future because it hasn't happened yet. The only time you can ever start anything is right now. A research institution found that people who practiced present moment activation were significantly less likely to procrastinate and more likely to maintain new habits. Let me summarize the 6 key points we've covered today. First, start with the 1% technique. Make your first step so small it's impossible to refuse. Next, collect evidence of every small action you take to prove to yourself that progress is happening. Then, embrace being a beginner and connect with other adult learners who normalize this experience. Fourth, reset your timeline to focus on the years ahead rather than the years behind. Fifth, design your social environment to include people who encourage starting new things at any age. Finally, take immediate action in the present moment whenever too late thoughts arise. The most important thing to remember is that the feeling of being too late is just that, a feeling, not a fact. Your brain is designed to learn and grow throughout your entire life. The research is clear. Age is not the limiting factor you think it is. Please start with just one tiny action today. It only takes 5 minutes, so try it right now while this video is fresh in your mind. You might feel changes within a week, and within a month, you'll wonder why you ever thought it was too late. After watching this video, I want you to choose one thing you've been putting off because you felt it was too late, and take the smallest possible action toward it today. Write one sentence, do one exercise, watch one tutorial, or simply research it for 5 minutes. That's all you need to do to prove to yourself that starting is possible at any age. If today's content was helpful, please hit the like button to help other people who are struggling with the same feelings find this video. If you want more practical solutions for overcoming mental barriers and building better habits, please subscribe to this channel. Remember, we're all figuring this out together, and it's never too late to start living the life you want. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and remember, your journey starts now.